Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how college students actually get jobs in 2025. Y'all have seen the reports on the news. We know that it has been an all-time low for college students in this job economy, not only for recent grads, but also for early in career, mid-level managers. I mean, there are people who have 10, 15, 20 years of experience in industries like tech, oil and gas, government, and they're literally getting laid off. Out of all my students that I've worked with in the last 2 to 3 years, literally every single one of them have needed to network to get jobs. They all have leveraged their network, people they know, their alumni, their previous professors, family, friends, etc. Every single student I've ever worked with in the last 2 to 3 years has leaned on their network to secure a job. And I feel like that goes without saying what the climate is like in 2025. Actually, even same with me, when I look back at my internships, my big tech internships, my full-time job, I literally have leveraged my network in every step of the way, whether it means getting a referral, whether it means having a connection with someone in recruiting who was able to push me to final round interviews. I literally have leaned on my network myself, and I know that's been the case for my students as well. Peers that I know and students that I know that were able to secure internships and jobs in the last year, they all have had to be incredibly intentional, whether that means stalking and following the right people on LinkedIn, turning on post notifications, setting Google alerts to their phones, to their email addresses to send them alerts when jobs from specific companies are opening, whether it's, going to the right career fairs, being in the right place at the right time. Everything has been incredibly intentional. I think the days of, graduating from college and seeing what's out there are long gone. And so in this video, I wanted to talk about the 3 big buckets that I've observed, that I've noticed within my students that have allowed them to get job offers in present day times, right? What have they done? How are students actually getting jobs in 2025? We're going to be going over 3 buckets. We're going to be talking about networking. We're going to be talking about internship conversions and converting internships to full-time employment. And then we're going to be talking about the X factor, timing. So first, we're going to be talking about networking. As I said, everyone I know, they have had and locked in their job offers through their networks. And what does that mean? People always talk about, oh, Melissa, how do you network? People always throw that word around, but what does it actually mean? I'm going to be going over 2 different methods in this specific video. I'm going to be talking about using your alumni network, and then I'm also going to be highlighting a little bit about LinkedIn Premium. So starting off with your alumni network, I know for certain at a lot of institutions, specifically private institutions, they typically have some kind of alumni portal where you can literally go to your career center on campus and literally ask them about this. It exists. It's a little bit more old school, a little bit more old fashioned, but it does exist. Essentially what you do is they'll give you some kind of link, you log in with your EDU credentials, and once you're in the portal system, you literally can pull up people from specific majors, you can pull up people who have graduated from specific years and who have reported specific companies within their profile, right? Obviously not every single alumni person is active on these websites, but sometimes it can give you really good leads. And what I've noticed and what my students have noticed is that a lot of the older generation tends to lean on these alumni portals. So if you're, let's say, in finance and you're interested in connecting with the MD, look at that alumni portal. Chances are you'll find someone, and even if that specific person isn't at the company you're applying to or the role you're applying to, they're a lead, right? They can connect you to the person that is going to be that direct connect, right? So that is one facet. A second facet is to leverage LinkedIn. Honestly, I'm a real y'all. A lot of y'all don't know how to use LinkedIn, and it shows. I'm not going to be doing a whole demo in this video, but just quickly calling out, if you have LinkedIn Premium, I'm not saying you have to pay for the premium, but if you can finesse LinkedIn Premium, bruh, are you kidding me? You can literally go in on LinkedIn and do all kinds of searches. You can search again for specific companies, specific cities, and you can literally look up people from Goldman Sachs, and then you can go into the Goldman Sachs profile page on LinkedIn, go under the tab people, and you can literally look to see out of people you currently have connections with on your LinkedIn, your friends, your followers, who is also following Goldman Sachs. And then once you see that, you can even filter for education background or filter for location under Goldman Sachs. So then it'll pull up oh, hey, within Goldman Sachs, here are all the people who report on their LinkedIn profile that they work for Goldman Sachs or have worked for Goldman Sachs and live in New York City, let's say, for example. And then from that point on, you can cold message these individuals and maybe someone will reply, and that can help give you, again, a lead to a full-time job, to an internship, to interview, to an opportunity of some sort. The second way a lot of college students are getting jobs in 2025 is converting their internships into full-time jobs. Right now, I found on Google that roughly 70% of interns will receive return offers after their internship. So there are so many things you can do during your internship to maximize your chances of getting that full-time job offer at the end of your internship. So most of the people I know who had jobs before their spring semester or senior year, they typically did some kind of internship, did really well in their internship, and their team either really liked them or, a neighboring team that they work closely with invites them back to work for them full time. And that is honestly the most well-known method that I know of. Of course, I know people who may have not return offers from their internships or simply didn't even like their internship that much and didn't want to go back. And I know those individuals, and they were able to hustle and start from square one their senior year, apply, go through recruiting, go through interviews, and land something, get an offer. But that is so tedious and hard. Like, even people who didn't like their internship that much, they just went back even for 1 year and tried to either switch roles within the company or switch companies altogether. But again, it's much easier to get a job when you have a job than to get a job and you have nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the final method I want us to talk about today is the unexplainable, the hard work, the right place, the right time, the timing, all of the above, all the things that you can incorporate into your routine, into your habits to hopefully bridge the gap between you as an unemployed college student and you as an employed post-grad student. Things like I mentioned, setting like Google alerts on your email. So again, when certain companies are posting about, recruiting or keywords like, Microsoft careers or whatever, you will get a notification directly on your laptop on your email. You'll get an email notification like, oh, Google recruiting is looking for blah, 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 blah. Or you can follow specific, there are all kinds of LinkedIn famous people. How on Instagram, there's the Instagram girls, the Instagram baddies that have 100K followers, and the streamers that have 500K followers on Instagram. The same thing exists in LinkedIn in the professional world. You just got to look for it. There are plenty of people who are LinkedIn famous for reposting opportunities in specific industries or reposting opportunities for specific job functions, right? There are people who are PMs, they're PM kings and queens. They post, internships for PMs, full-time job offers for PMs, early career PMs, how to become a better PM. Their whole entire content on their LinkedIn page is dedicated towards people who want to be program or product managers. There are people who do the same thing for engineers. There are people who do the same thing for finance. And also being on LinkedIn, boring as that might sound for some of you, literally every 2-3 days, the same way you scroll on Instagram, y'all need to start scrolling on LinkedIn, right? Repost stuff, interact with people, because sometimes you'll come on someone's algorithm and they might check you out. You might post something interesting and next thing you know, they DM you with an opportunity. I've heard of that as well. And obviously, you can't really, there's no rule book to it, but kind of positioning yourself in a place to where opportunities can come find you and come meet you is incredibly important, because I'm pretty sure in the last video, we talked about it, since 2020, there's been a 40% increase and influx of individuals graduating with degrees in information sciences, engineering, computer science, development. There are so many people pursuing these degrees that it is an employer's market, right? Employers can really pin someone with a 3.9 GPA and a 3.8 GPA and be who do I want? There's so many students and so little of jobs that are paying well, have decent benefits, have decent work-life balance. Those are fewer and harder to come by, especially again, where there's so many layoffs happening. Yes, there are a lot of job openings happening as well, but just being realistic, it is a competitive market. This is all competition. Sometimes things are luck. You can be someone who's very hardworking, is very qualified and capable, but maybe the opportunity just hasn't really found you yet. So you kind of have to position yourself in a situation, in an area where, opportunity can easily find you. You're easily accessible. Again, having somewhat of a social media presence on LinkedIn, just scrolling through, using the application itself, and just keeping your eye open, attending job fairs, having a friendly face, coming prepared, coming with good questions, things like that can really take you much farther than you guys think. I know I rambled on a lot today, as I always do, but I hope this video helps you guys get an understanding of from the students I'm working with, from my class's experience and my peers, what the job market is looking like in 2025, right? And how people are getting getting jobs and how people are coming out successful. Because don't let the news articles and the media fool you. Like, there are plenty of people who are moving to Silicon Valley, moving to New York, moving to Austin, and starting, fulfilling careers, right? Starting off on as best a foot as they can in this economy. Okay, that's all from me. As always, please comment down. Let me know how you or your friends or your peers or people you know in your circle are getting jobs in 2025. What have you done to stand out? Like, let's make sure that, once we're on, we're putting other people on. Let me know if you have any specific questions for me. I'm always in the comments responding to you guys. Furthermore, I have a link in my bio with more information about one-on-one calls with me. I had, I think, like 10 calls last week. So I literally carved out half of my Saturday to talk to you guys. And it's something that I'm passionate about and I want to continue doing. So if you do want to book a one-on-one call with me, the link is in the bio. If not, feel free to put your comment down below. I'll answer it as best as I can. And I hope you guys have a great, great day. Bye.